Aren't you a little short for a stormtrooper?
What's up, nerds? Welcome to another episode of the Multiverse Report. Tonight, we are recapping the week's nerdy news from Gorman to Yavin 4 and everywhere in between. I usually don't do two locations from the same universe, but my God
damn.
with ANDOR cooking so hard, I had to. My name is Mike Gibson. With me is always Steve Howler. What's up, Steve?
Another week, another potential takedown notice from Spotify because I altered the intro music last week. We should be okay this week. Anybody who's on Spotify, if you missed it, go back and check us on YouTube. We did our May the 4th.
Or Apple Podcasts also, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we did our May the 4th episode with friend of the pod, Matt Beseda. Went down through our top 5 Star Wars TV shows for
right.
all of us. As you can imagine, if anyone who is a fan of this podcast and a fan of Star Wars, you probably can guess what's number one in all of our hearts. Two of our hearts.
2/3 of our hearts. ANDOR scored very highly
yes.
amongst the three of us,
and
I would say.
On for all accounts, on every rating service out there, especially this last arc, which if you would like to hang around and listen to, we will be talking about at the end of the podcast, doing our review of episodes 7, 8, and 9 of season 2 of ANDOR, which, oh my God, that is cooking.
Yeah. I really like that we get a 3-hour Star Wars movie every week. I like that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't like that it's going to be over so fast.
Tomorrow.
Like
literally over tomorrow.
It's going to be over. It won't be over for me tomorrow because I'm not going to I can't watch all 3 of them tomorrow. I need to I'm watching them with my wife. I need to space them out.
I did get my wife to start season 1.
To accommodate schedules.
So
I know, and congratulations. That's a big deal.
Yeah. So I get to watch it all again.
That's awesome. Yeah. See, I had just watched season 1 again before season 2, so I was fresh as well.
Well, it's going into season 1. Like watching these first 3 episodes, I was like, I forgot about a lot of stuff that happened there.
Yeah, it's awesome. I know. Yeah, I definitely benefited from rewatching it. Not that I had forgotten a ton of stuff, but I'm just bummed that it's going to be over because that's it. We're not getting any more ANDOR. It's over.
No, we know what happens at the end of this.
We know what happens, and Cassian Andor. We should be saving this for the end when we're actually talking about it, but I'm just saying Cassian Andor is one of my favorite Star Wars characters, hands down. He's top 5 Star Wars characters for me.
And if you'd have told me that at the end of Rogue One,
after Rogue One,
I would have told you were drunk. Go home.
Definitely because of the series. But now the series is going to be over, and I feel like the way that they designed the series, it would be really hard for another story to plug in Cassian. I mean, I guess there's gaps between these arcs,
but at the same time,
it would be really difficult.
I think they should be done.
I agree. It's just heartbreaking for me because I love the character so much. But yeah, it's we've talked about Star Wars before and how plugging holes the way they do sometimes is I don't need to see every moment of a character's life. I don't need to see Ahsoka Tano die someday. Just stop. Give her a good ending and let her go. You know what I mean? But I don't know if Dave Filoni's going to do that. So
no, Filoni will want to send her off into the sunset.
He's a little
in his way.
Ahsoka, yeah, exactly. Anyway, this podcast is brought to you by Funky Town Comics and Vinyl in Camillus, New York. It's also brought to you by a comic book that's on Kickstarter right now, written by me, called "I Brought a Gorilla to a Gunfight." We are entering the home stretch. We have a little over a week. We have about 10 days left to pledge to my Kickstarter. Kickstarter ends on May 22nd, 9 o'clock in the morning. So get those pledges in. Lagging behind a little bit, I got to say. I'm hoping to make up some big gains this week. So if you are someone that's been waiting till closer to the end of the campaign, now's your time. Go on and pledge. And
you are over the
big thank you.
Officially over the halfway mark too.
Over the halfway mark, but not as much as I hoped I would be
at this point. Yeah.
And I'll figure out a way to make it work if we're down to the wire. But I would really appreciate your backing and your support, and big thank you to everyone who has supported it so far. I Brought a Gorilla to a Gunfight is a story about a woman named Penny Westfield who works as a bounty hunter on the American frontier. She does not use guns. She throws knives and rides a giant gorilla.
Because
a
why
horse.
wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? I posted something on Instagram and somebody commented about the title being I Brought a Gorilla to a Gunfight. And they were like, yeah, and you would lose because a gun beats a gorilla every time. And I was like, yeah, well, also this gorilla's giant and wears armor. And also I'm the writer, so I get to decide who wins. Like, this is fiction, buddy.
Right.
Like, I don't know if you know. Have you ever read a fictitious story before?
Right. You know, you're on
Anyway.
a comics page talking about this.
Exactly.
Yeah, and as Richard in the chat mentioned, we will be on this week's. Is it MON? Is that
It
what
is,
he goes
but
by? Okay.
I keep forgetting about that. So thank you, Richard, for bringing it up. We're gonna be on another podcast.
Yeah.
We're gonna be taking part in MON Comics podcast. Right? Is that what's called?
Yeah. No, it's always one of those where I'm like, is it MON or is it MON or?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like you were doing the most of the negotiating, so I feel like I'm more in the dark about what we're even doing. But I believe his name is Brandon. I met one of the hosts of that show on Free Comic Book Day at Funky Town Comics. Talked to him for a little bit. Very nice guy. Do you know what we're gonna be doing? Are we gonna be talking about comic books or something, like our favorites, maybe?
I don't know.
The plan. I don't know what the plan is.
Middle of nowhere, which is weird because he's right down the road from us.
Well,
fair enough. Another Central New York podcast will be on, and yeah, we'll throw plugs out on socials for everything going on. Big Five Live, which I believe we on Saturday or Sunday, or Friday or Saturday.
I want it Saturday, right? I want to say.
So we'll this is the on the fly promo that we should have wrote up ahead of time.
Something we're clearly not prepared for.
No, in any way, shape, or form, and I totally apologize to Brandon already.
But we will be doing it.
We will be doing it, and we will be prepared by then.
Yes, we'll know what to talk about and how to talk about it.
So
and from where.
Yeah, okay. Richard confirmed Saturday. He's got her back.
Richard, where would we be without you? Real.
It's true.
Very true. I think that's all the preamble we got. Funky Town. I Brought a Gorilla to a Gunfight on Kickstarter now. Middle of Nowhere Comics Podcast. It's happening Saturday. And we're going to dive into some news. We got some Marvel news and some DC news and some movie release date news. Plus, I have a comic review. I don't know if Steve has a comic review, but we'll be...
I do, but I forgot to wrote it.
You forgot to wrote it?
I forgot to wrote it. I forgot to read it, too.
Wrote it.
Yeah.
Well, no big deal. We're gonna, and then like we talked about earlier, we'll praise ANDOR episodes 7, 8, 9 from here to the high heavens at the end of the episode. But for now, we're jumping in with some Marvel news. Well, this is weird to me. I have not yet seen the movie Thunderbolts, which I would like to see very much.
Same.
Although I just haven't had time. Scheduling has not been working out.
We both have to deal with small children on a daily basis, Mike. I feel like the ease of us getting out to a movie is much different over these past 7 to 8 years.
And also last week on the free nights that I had, I was like, I could go see Thunderbolts by myself, or I could stay home with my wife and watch a new episode of ANDOR.
Yeah.
And
ANDOR wins.
ANDOR won that every single time.
Like Thunderbolts is supposedly very good.
It's supposed to be very good.
ANDOR is another level. And I know we've spent the first 10 minutes of this podcast screaming up and down through the walls about this, but
I've heard Thunderbolts is good. And again, I haven't seen it, but there's no way it's as good as ANDOR.
Right.
There's just no way. No way. So anyway, Thunderbolts, we know it was announced as Thunderbolts, and then after a while they added an asterisk to the end of the name Thunderbolts. And we're like, why are they doing that? Well, shortly as this news is from 2 weeks ago, because we just did the May the 4th ranking last week. So like some of this news is a little bit older, but it's a big deal. So we wanted to cover it. Shortly after opening weekend for Thunderbolts, And this is gonna sound like a spoiler. It's sorry, I'm preambling a lot on this, but I just want to say it's gonna sound like a spoiler, but I guess it's not because the company Marvel is officially doing this in all of the marketing. Like they're changing posters, they're making a big deal out of changing the name of the movie from Thunderbolts to the New Avengers.
Yeah.
Apparently that's a twist in the movie where the team is officially called the New Avengers by the end of the movie, and they're changing it all in the marketing. They're making big show of Florence Pugh ripping part of the poster off the bottom that says Thunderbolts and New Avengers is underneath. And there's a stunt where like Sebastian Stan, who plays Bucky, was out like putting new posters over old Thunderbolts posters that said New Avengers. So I don't know the context for this because I haven't seen the movie. So I don't know why they're calling themselves that, how they earn that title, if someone it's bestowed upon them in some way. I don't know. But it's weird to me that they're changing the title of a movie that they've been telling us is Thunderbolts for a long time. And like people are still calling it Thunderbolts for the most part. But should we start calling it New Avengers? I don't know. I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, I think it's still officially Thunderbolts, but they're trying to grab a little extra on the marketing end.
Yeah, okay, because for me, it read a little desperate for for box office.
Yeah, well,
receipts
in the box office, it's not doing horrible. It's about right now at about Shang-Chi. It is 272 global, about on pace with Shang-Chi, should I say?
not bad.
So 272 at this point through its second weekend. Good word of mouth holds it up. Like it was still number one at the box office. So
yeah.
I guess if it hangs up there a little, then yeah, why not? I mean,
I don't know if you have this in front of you, but how does it compare to Captain America: Brave New World?
I don't know, but I can pull that up.
Most recent Marvel movie.
It is at not Captain America, other Captain America levels.
No.
Not First Avenger levels.
No.
Actually, as dumb as it sounds, it's higher than First Avenger levels.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see it being higher than
Thor, higher, because I always forget how much the window shifted on the MCU in general.
Yeah.
Winter Soldier was only 259.
Well, all right. Maybe Brave New World did better than I thought. I don't think it made its money back because there were so many reshoots. It ended up being very expensive. Shoot, I was just curious to see if Thunderbolts was doing better than Brave New World. If it was like people weren't into a new Captain America as much as they were into just like, fun kind of ragtag group. I love a ragtag
415
group,
worldwide.
I got to say. That was the total gross.
That was for Brave New World, 415 worldwide. Domestic 200. Thunderbolts is at 127.
And Thunderbolts is 127 now. I thought you said
127 domestic, 271 worldwide.
Oh, domestic. Oh, okay.
So it's probably trending in that.
It'll probably get there. Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, it's not Deadpool and Wolverine, but
yeah.
Right now, where it is currently, we're early in the release, so it's pretty low, but right below First Avenger, then Black Widow, Eternals, Brave New World, Shang-Chi, Thor, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. So yeah, it's if it gets up into the fours, it's really on the bottom end of all of Marvel, but still a very respectable movie. Like, I feel like the success of these Marvel movies has blown things stupidly out the window.
Yeah, it really has, because like Marvel movies were part of the reason that now like any movie that doesn't make $1 billion, studios think is a failure or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think part of that was the miracle of the MCU at first. It was like, that thing was bulletproof for a while. There was no stopping a new Marvel movie at the box office for a while. And now after Endgame, things have like kind of slowly declined, and there's been some peaks and valleys and here and there or whatever. But
right. I mean, after Endgame, you have
interested to see how it's going.
You have No Way Home, and Deadpool and Wolverine. And besides that, nothing that's happened after Endgame has been a $1 billion movie.
Yeah.
Like all your $1 billion movies from the MCU are Endgame, Infinity War, No Way Home, the original Avengers,
Black Panther.
Yep. Age of Ultron. So all of the Avengers movies.
Sure.
Black Panther,
Iron
Captain Man
Marvel.
3,
Iron Man 3. That's right. Yeah.
Civil War, Far From Home, Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Spider-Man does pretty well.
Yeah, I mean Spidey. That's like saying a Batman movie's not going to do well. Like,
yeah,
it's going to draw.
But also like the lower, like you're saying, it's like near Thor and First Avenger. Like those movies were like, some people, the first Avengers movie is what blew the doors off.
Yeah.
Of the box office for the first time, and like largely like Iron Man was a big hit.
Iron Man was 584.
Incredible Hulk was not. Iron Man 2 was like successful, but not critically successful. And then Thor was like middling box office, and Captain America was like middling box office. And Avengers was like, oh, kaboom. And then every movie after that got like a bump. All like the solo movies after that got a huge bump, specifically Iron Man 3, because it was the first one. And then got Winter Soldier. And you know what? I was planning on finding a spot to say that we are so early into our rundown. We've gotten the
and we're already off the rails
of the first story. We're already way off the rails, but I'm going to take us a little further off the rails, and I'm just going to say I've been listening to. I am a member of the Blank Check Patreon, the podcast Blank Check that I've mentioned on this podcast before.
I've been listening to a lot of them lately.
You have too?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. On their main feed, they do director filmographies. On their Patreon, they do commentaries for franchises. But they talk so much that you can definitely listen to the commentary without watching the movie. So if it's a movie you've seen a million times, you can just like listen to it as if it's a podcast, and it's fun to listen.
Yep.
And they did the entire Infinity Saga. They stopped after Endgame, I believe.
Oh.
So I've been listening to a lot of those commentaries. And the other night, I wasn't sober, but I will say something came over me where I was compelled to listen to the Blank Check commentary while watching Thor: The Dark World, largely considered to be one of the worst Marvel movies, and I gotta say, not that bad.
No,
I thought it was pretty good.
I
liked it quite a bit.
I've always thought it was unfairly maligned.
Yes.
I don't think it's great.
It
like it's not it shouldn't be up there with the Avengers or something, but like
it's no masterpiece.
Right. It's not a pile of hot garbage.
There's a lot of cool stuff in that movie. A lot of cool stuff. There's just describing it like this. Dark elves flying rotating spaceships. Right. That's cool. That's cool as hell.
I would rather watch that than Love and Thunder again.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I moved it up in my rankings on Letterboxd. I was like, okay, no, these movies are way worse than Thor: The Dark World. Now I'm like, there's a bunch of practical sets. There's like a lot of great costumes. There's like really cool designs of stuff. Like it's pretty good. It's pretty solid movie.
You know my Marvel hot take? The Eternals isn't nearly as bad as it's been made out to be.
I want to rewatch The Eternals because I liked it the first time I saw it.
Yeah.
But
I've only seen it the once as well, so.
Same. Yeah.
Anyway, maybe that could be our first commentary if you sub to the Patreon.
We should. I would love to
check out our Patreon, patreon.com/the Multiverse Report.
We should start with all the like the worst reviewed,
the bottom tier of all the
bottom tier superhero movies, and watch all the bad ones. Anyway, back to Thunderbolts. Director.
Before that,
okay.
Blank Check.
Not back to Thunderbolts.
In the main feed. Let's talk about another podcast.
Yeah. Let's talk about Star Wars or something. Let's then go off like crazy off.
Right. So the Blank Check right now, they're in the middle of Amy Heckerling.
Yes.
And I'm currently listening to the European Vacation one. And
just
listening to those guys dissect like the Chevy Chase of it all. On top of everything else, I think I told you I sent the Beverly D'Angelo fact to you guys today.
Yes. Oh, that's right.
That's what that was from.
Yeah.
For anyone who's a fan of the band, they used to be the backup band for Ronnie Hawkins, a kind of rockabilly musician back in the '60s, and Beverly D'Angelo was one of their backup singers.
Yeah,
with the
crazy.
Hawks.
I did not know
It's
that.
insane.
Yeah.
Oh God, Brian tried to watch Craven again. Why do you
Ooh.
do this to yourself, buddy?
I keep forgetting that Craven is a thing that I haven't seen that even exists.
I can't
keep
tell if
forgetting
I'm on
about it.
purpose forgetting it or not.
I'm not remembering it enough to actually watch it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway, back to Thunderbolts. Director Jake Schreier apparently reporting that he's being eyed to be the director of the MCU X-Men film. Deadline is reporting that Schreier is in early talks to helm the X-Men film that's currently being written by Michael Leslie. Also, in conjunction with that, Wall Street Journal reported this week that Kevin Feige has a, quote, 10-year plan for the X-Men after Avengers Secret Wars, and that includes movies, but also possibly TV shows. This is kind of like a big piece on Kevin Feige. He also admitted to kind of being stretched too thin during phases 4 and 5, and that overload of the content that Marvel was cranking out at that time made it, quote, feel like homework to be caught up on the MCU. And also, I'm just kind of gonna blurt out all these other things that are not super connected, but Marvel related. Apparently, it's also being reported that the Vision series that they're currently working on for Disney Plus will be the last major television series to feature a major character from the films, and that those are going to be kept more separate from now on. And the TV people may show up in the movies, but apparently, if it's a show about a character that was established in the films, they want you to pay to see that character. So they're going to make you pay to see that character in a movie. And it's not like we're not going to get like Falcon and the Winter Soldier season 2 or something like that. You know, it's going to be, these are the TV ones, these are the movie ones, and maybe there'll be some crossover, but we're not going to get another.
I hate that.
I can't think of another example. You hate that.
Yeah.
Why do you hate that?
I feel like it's unnecessarily, like making a statement like that is just unnecessarily pigeonholing shit. Like you're about to introduce the X-Men universe.
Right.
One of the widest, like, multitude of characters you could possibly draw from. And does it make sense at some point that freaking Beast shows up in a New Mutants class? Yes.
Yeah, and like this report comes after the other report that I just said where Kevin Feige has a plan for X-Men, including movies and TV shows.
Right.
So like what? They're not going to show up in their other thing? Yeah,
like I want to see Rockslide show up in the movies, and I want to see Storm show up at the X Mansion teaching some kids or something.
But I also get it because I get what you're saying, but I also understand it from their point of view where, I mean, we've talked about it a lot on this podcast where it did kind of feel like too much, like a glut of content for Marvel. And I think if they're able to differentiate the things a little bit more, the characters, the stories a little bit more in some way,
right,
it may feel less overwhelming. Like, I got to watch the Avengers movies, but also there's a Scarlet and Vision show that I have to watch so I can understand the next movie. You know what I mean?
So I think that's the point of order, though, is not to say that it's going to be the last major character to appear on TV, but like focus them in different directions. Don't pigeonhole yourself into, these are just our movie guys and these are just our TV guys. You know what I mean? Like, don't draw the hard line, but do what makes sense. Yeah,
I think that's the way to go. But also, if they're trying to avoid it feeling like homework, then they probably want to back off on the you have to watch Miss Marvel or you don't know who this character is in the Marvels kind of thing.
100%.
And also, it makes them they have to consider when they're making that movie, they have to consider the people who have never watched Miss Marvel and then take up time in the movie to reestablish her for people who haven't seen it, which is like a waste of time in your movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. It just, it seems to me that, hell, you're introducing the Fantastic Four and the Future Foundation and all that stuff. And if, let's not make a Ben Grimm TV series, but like if he shows up in Daredevil, because he happens to be in freaking on Yancey Street, like, okay, cool. Like, that's fine. Just don't, don't make blanket statements that don't make sense.
Agreed. As far as Jake Schreier directing X-Men,
Richard nailed it. We should want to watch these TV shows because they're good, not because it's homework.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Jake Schreier, again, I haven't seen Thunderbolts, so I don't know, but like Thunderbolts is a team movie, X-Men's a team movie, maybe that makes him a good fit. It seems like they would. I don't know Jake Schreier. I'm not familiar with his like filmography, but it seems like for an X-Men film, they probably could get a bigger name if they wanted to, but I don't know, maybe they just want someone that's more, for lack of a better word, controllable, like understands what his job is, and his job is to do what Kevin Feige tells him to do, instead of someone with like a vision, that they have to rein in.
I mean, that to me is an issue.
What's an issue?
Put someone in charge of the movie and let them make the goddamn movie.
Well, I know, but they don't like that.
Yeah, I know.
All the time. Sometimes, we get, every once in a while, we get a Ryan Coogler or we get a James Gunn who they trust enough to do that kind of thing, who's a visionary enough to do that. But
yeah,
I don't know. You'd think that they'd want more of a profiled director for X-Men, but I don't know. What do I care? Who knows?
He did an episode of Skeleton Crew.
That's true. That it?
He's only got 3 film credits to his name: Robot and Frank,
interesting.
Paper Towns, and Thunderbolts.
Okay.
And
weird.
Yeah. Some TV stuff.
Well, we'll have to,
including an episode of The Premise called Butt Plug.
All right. Well, we'll have to reconvene on this topic after we've seen Thunderbolts. Hopefully, I can get out this week and see it. But speaking of Marvel Television, the light may have gone out on the dreams of us getting a Hawkeye season 2. It was reported last week that Jeremy Renner said that Marvel offered him half of what he made on season 1 in order for him to return for season 2, and he turned it down because why would he accept that? He gave an interview. Someone asked him about it, and he said, quote, I'm sorry? Why? Did you think I'm only half the Jeremy because I got ran over? Referencing his near fatal snow plow accident from a year or two ago. Maybe that's why you want to pay me half of what I made on the first season. I didn't ask for any more money, mind you. Pay me what I made the first season. So it's all disheartening that didn't happen, but that's fine. I'm happy to let that go because my body's probably thanking me time and time again that I'm not doing it right now, but we'll see. So I didn't necessarily need a Hawkeye season 2. I liked Hawkeye season 1. I'm not clamoring for a Hawkeye season 2. I do want to see more Kate Bishop. I would like Kate Bishop to come back to the MCU in some way, shape, or form. But I don't know. Were you dying for a Hawkeye season 2?
I mean, it would have been one of the ones that made sense, but
yes.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen.
Yeah. I like that character. I would like to see more of him. And Kate Bishop. They can get them both into Doomsday or Secret Wars or something. That'd be cool. But I think it's why would Marvel lowball Jeremy Renner like that? I think a big answer is that they don't want to make the series either.
Right.
They don't want to make Hawkeye season 2. And this is a reason for them to not have to make Hawkeye season 2. If, Jeremy Renner said no, we offered to pay him. He didn't want to pay him. He didn't want to do it. So we're not going to do it.
Right.
Like, okay. If you wanted to do it, you would offer him the same amount of money. Like, that's clear,
Mm-hmm.
So that's wild. One more Marvel thing. We got a teaser. This is late breaking. This is just hours ago. Multiverse Report listeners. We got the first teaser trailer for a upcoming Amazon Prime series starring Nicolas Cage and Brendan Gleeson. We got the first teaser trailer for Spider Noir. This is the live action adaptation of Nicolas Cage's Spider-Man Noir from the Into the Spider-Verse franchise. Character that was established in the comic books, but this is clearly designed after the version of him from Into the Spider-Verse. Pretty short teaser, minute-ish long. It says that it's coming out in 2026. No release date. We get to see a couple shots of Nicolas Cage, a couple shots of a spider, very shadowy, like a very quick action scene, very moody. It's a very moody teaser trailer.
Mm-hmm.
But the biggest deal we talked about last time we talked about Spider-Man Noir, Spider Noir, which I think is a dumb name.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't we? Wasn't there a story where they were just calling it Noir for a second and they were getting rid of the spider?
There might have been.
I
You
feel like
remember the last time we talked to this? I forgot it was even happening and didn't realize it was live action.
I do remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that you thought it was animated. Yeah. But the last time we talked about it, we'd mentioned this. The trailer, or we weren't sure if this was going to happen, but the trailer is in black and white.
Yeah.
Full black and white trailer. So
It
that
is.
tells me that the show's going to be black and white,
One would think.
which I'm cool with. It looked cool.
Yeah, sure.
It didn't like make me jump out of my seat.
It didn't really move the needle at all for me. And if anything,
Like-
when Nicolas Cage talked, I wanted to turn the goddamn thing off.
What?
Like, if I have to listen to him use that voice for the entire show, I'm not watching
Okay.
it.
Yeah, it was a weird voice, right?
It was the same one he used in Into the Spider-Verse, which was kind of a tchotchke, like, over-the-top voice. And if I have to listen to that for an entire series of television, you can
Oh.
bet my ass I'm not watching it. And I did just say
Alright.
you can bet my ass, and I don't know what that means.
I will wager your ass.
But yeah, no, it threw me so far. Like, you know how some things like break that level, like the immersion. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm kind of riding the train. Like, okay, I can
Sure.
get with this show. And then I heard that, and it was just like shattered. I was like, well, so much
It
for
didn't
this.
bo-
So much for this show.
It didn't bother me.
Yeah,
I can't say it bothered me the way it bothered you. So,
it was like visceral,
Um,
and I don't know why.
wow.
I mean, I
when I
don't
say it
really
looked-
like Nicolas Cage to begin with, and maybe that's part of it.
Clearly, that seems to be clear.
Well, I didn't mind him in some things, but like,
Yeah.
I don't know. He just plays such a caricature of everything that I don't know. It's weird.
I think he can be wildly different from performance to performance. And there's times when he's kind of really dialed in, and there's times when he's phoning it in, and there's times when he's going big.
Yeah.
And there's times when he's not. And it just varies wildly from project to project for him. When I say I thought it looked cool, I meant the black and white looked cool.
Oh yeah, yeah.
there
The
wasn't-
aesthetics on it look great. Like the visuals
Yeah.
look. I was well behind those.
Yeah. There wasn't, I think there was like one. Is it established that he can like teleport kind of or disappear in a cloud? Because it looked like he did like a whoosh thing with smoke and ended up behind somebody. It was strange.
Yeah, I don't know. From what I could read, because I never read any of the Spider-Man Noir books or anything. It seems like the whole premise is he's Spidey from the 1930s, but he's retired. Like he was the only superhero and is retired.
Okay.
So he's putting the suit back on type thing.
All right. Cool. Well, that's out there. Check it out, folks. We got some more trailer talk in a moment. But first, Steve just read this right before we went on the air, and we started talking about it and decided we should stop talking about it right now and
Yeah.
talk about it when we get to talk about it in the pod. Last bit of Marvel news. Apparently, is this a done deal or she's in talks?
I believe the X-Men 97 thing is a done deal, and that there was a rumor of her playing a live action character.
The same character?
I don't know about the same character.
Let's talk around it for as long as humanly possible. No,
Yes.
Nev Campbell apparently is going to be voicing the character of Polaris on season 2 of X-Men 97. Polaris being daughter of Magneto?
Yep.
That's true. Half sibling to Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch. And
Maybe.
we thought,
Ish, kind of.
what's that?
Whatever. Don't worry
Oh,
about
yeah.
trying to connect the family
Depending on-
trees and the X-Men.
depending on
It's not
continuity,
worth
yeah.
it. If you want to do that,
and-
go check out. Oh God, what the hell was the? I used to listen to the hell out of a podcast that was really good about the X-Men, but yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, Jay and Miles explain the X-Men.
Oh, that's right. You mentioned that
Yeah.
to me before.
It was great.
You were saying that it was a weird choice for you to have Nev Campbell play Polaris. For me, it's only weird because there's not any like celebrities that voice the other characters. The other characters are all voice actors.
Right.
And to my knowledge, Nev Campbell's not known as a voice actor. She may have done a few things here or there, but like Nev Campbell is an actor, a live action physical actor. And it makes me wonder, is this like why get Nev Campbell? I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. And I don't know what she'll do for the voice, but like I don't know what I want Polaris to sound like in my head. But Nev Campbell was not on the list of where I expected it to go.
Yeah, same.
Like,
same.
I mean, Nev Campbell's got to be what, our age? Older? Yeah, because Scream came out in '96,
I would say
right?
She's probably
so she's got to be like
around
10 years older, maybe?
My age or a few years older. I don't know if she's 10 years old.
51.
That seems like too much. Oh, 51?
Yeah.
That's older than I thought.
Yeah, same.
But
from Guelph, Ontario, home of Jay Stevens.
Oh, hey.
There
I
you
wonder
go.
if they know each other.
Actually, they probably both around the same age, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, probably. So anyway, I'm excited about another season of X-Men 97, whenever that's going to happen. We'll
Still
find out.
unconfirmed.
Speaking of seasons of television that I'm excited about, this one, pretty close to the top of the list, Peacemaker, Season 2, moving into some DC stuff. We got the first teaser trailer for Season 2 of Peacemaker.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. It's premiering on Max on August 21st. The third installment of the new DCU. Now, I don't know if you've seen this trailer, folks, but for me, biggest deal in this trailer is that it includes Green Lantern, Hawkgirl, and Maxwell Lord from Superman.
Yeah.
We knew, okay, so it's Nathan Fillion as Green Lantern, Guy Gardner, Isabella Merced as Hawkgirl, and Sean Gunn as Maxwell Lord. We also get Frank Grillo as Rick Flag Sr., who was announced to be in both Superman and Peacemaker Season 2. And
was in Creature Commandos.
And was in Creature Commandos, correct? Why isn't his hair white? His hair's not white in the trailer for Peacemaker Season 2, but his hair was white in Creature Commandos.
Weird.
Whatever. He's like, Peacemaker is interviewing to be on whatever team Green Lantern and Hawkgirl are on. I don't know if there's a Justice. I guess we don't know if there's a Justice League already, or if there's
It
Justice
seems like
Society,
seems
or
like he's
we don't know what they're
auditioning for
calling
the
themselves.
Justice League, basically.
Yeah. I don't know what it is, because I was looking. Both Hawkgirl and Green Lantern have the same symbol on their chests of their uniform.
Oh yeah.
And it's not like a Green Lantern symbol or a Hawkgirl symbol. It's like lines that could be letters, but they don't look like a J and an L. So that makes me think it's not the Justice League and they're calling themselves something else, but I don't know what it could be. Maybe it's just a cool symbol that shows are on the same team. I don't know. There's a funny bit when he's interviewing to be on whatever team they're on. I thought it was very cool that they're in it at all, because that's like pretty major connectivity to what will likely be one of the biggest movies of the summer. And, just a month later, a little over a month later, we're going to get them at least in one scene of Peacemaker Season 2. Also, clearly, maybe inevitably, a big plot line of Season 2 seems to be Peacemaker versus Rick Flag Sr. Rick Flag Sr. looking for revenge on Peacemaker for murdering his son in the Suicide Squad. So, we'll see about that. Steve, any thoughts on the Peacemaker Season 2 trailer?
It looked thoroughly Peacemaker.
Sure did.
Like, the characters seemed spot on to what we've come to expect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. It looked like what I wanted it to. And sometimes you see like a Season 2 of something and you're like, oh, okay, it didn't quite feel the same. Like that definitely was it was a continuation of what we saw.
Yeah, like reignited.
Yeah.
They're like, oh yeah, I love that show.
Right,
That's right.
exactly.
This feels the same, and I love it. Yeah.
Which is hilarious because I remember when season 1 was coming out, you and I were both like, I don't know if I can take John Cena in this role or whatever. And
For an
now
entire
it's
series.
like,
Yeah.
it is the perfect, like absolutely perfect casting.
Yeah. So good.
Yeah.
I showed the trailer to my wife, and she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna need to rewatch season 1." I was like, "Okay,
Oh,
no
darn.
worries from me, no complaints from me." Even though
Yeah.
I just rewatched it like early this year or whatever, like I'm in. Don't worry about it.
Yep.
Also looks like they're dabbling in some multiverse stuff. They're like kind of tapping into that whatever pocket dimension that the dad had in his house in the first one, where he had the big lab that made all the helmets and stuff. There's like some doors in there, which I don't know, because remember James Gunn said that they were going to address the shifting of the universe, the DC universe, from
Yeah,
the
it might be something.
DCEU to DCU. They were going to address it in Peacemaker season 2. I don't
Right.
know. That might be some way that they're doing it there. I don't know. Anyway, it looked cool. I love Peacemaker. It was a great show.
Well, and that's
So you can check that out as well.
Richard brings up in the chat, Peacemaker and ANDOR both taught us the plot is way more important than an A-list character. And to be fair, Iron Man, like back in the day, any of the original, the Avengers they brought into the Avengers, those were not A-list Marvel characters in the 80s, 90s, 2000s by any stretch. Like, all those had gotten bought off by everybody, so that's what Marvel made all this off of.
It's crazy. It's crazy to think about it, and we've said this before on the show, and I've heard other people say it on other podcasts and things, but to think of how before 2008 nobody gave a shit about Iron Man at all. He had his fans, he had a book. He still, people were buying Iron Man. Some people were buying Iron Man comics, but for the most part, not a popular character, possibly a C-list character. I only cared about Iron Man because he was a member of the Avengers, and that was it. Like, he had to be there because he's Iron Man.
I mean, Thor wasn't much
like him.
Like, Thor wasn't much bigger.
Thor was a
than
goofy Shakespeare guy, and Captain America was a square.
Yeah.
Like, who cares? The fact I heard somebody say this, I think it was someone on Blank Check mentioned today. I was listening to one of the Avengers commentaries. They said the fact that they got Captain America right is maybe the biggest accomplishment of the entire MCU. Because without nailing that character, your whole thing falls apart. If people aren't behind Captain America, then they're not behind the Avengers. You know what I mean? Then they're not going to follow that guy through a trilogy of his own movies and a trilogy of Avengers movies. You have to figure out a way to nail that character, and they did.
Yeah.
Speaking of characters with a heart of gold that are hard to nail down, Superman coming out July 11th this summer. What direction are we pivoting here? Yeah, we are getting a new trailer for Superman this Wednesday.
Yeah,
so that's very exciting to me. There's a couple of clips online. They seem to include more of crypto, which I'm sure everybody online is going to have completely normal opinions about.
Oh, absolutely. And the first shot we get of Millie Alcock as Supergirl in Superman is going to also make everybody perfectly normal. No weird reactions. Normal. Everything's going to be fine. Don't worry.
Everything's going to be great. Everything's going to be great because people on the internet understand how to treat women. That's like the number one thing people on the internet know how to do.
People on the internet don't suck at all.
Not at all. Not at all. They also love when their superheroes play with cute dogs. They love it. They can't get enough of it.
I can't after watching that first trailer.
I cannot. I saw a clip. I don't know if it's from the trailer or if it's just from something else, but I saw a clip of Edie Gathegi as Mr. Terrific playing with Crypto with like a treat or something. It was a very short clip, but it was very cute.
Well, that was the thing is like in that trailer, I was afraid that they were going to do something over the top with Crypto. And it was like, no, it's just Crypto being a dog that just happens to be super fast and can fly and stuff. Like, it was just him being concerned for his master.
Yeah.
And if I fall down upstairs, my dog is going to come over and poke me and lick me and wonder, hey, are you okay?
Jump on me.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, are we playing? Yeah.
What are you doing? Yeah. Oh, you're not playing? Oh, something must be wrong. Okay, let's go find people.
Yeah, exactly. Superman.
The crypto movie guest
all-
starring Superman.
Yeah.
that's what Richard's going for.
That's what the animated one was.
Oh, Super Pets?
DC Super Pets.
Yeah.
Yeah. But speaking of Superman, I thought this was very cool. I'm very excited to check this out. All-Star Superman, the story from Grant Morrison and Frank Quitely. They're relatively modern, but now legendary Superman story, which James Gunn has said he's took a lot of inspiration from that for his Superman movie.
Mhm.
All-Star Superman is going to be adapted into a full cast audio drama. It's going to be the first of 5 DC titles that will receive the same treatment under a new deal between DC and Penguin Random House Audio. So, I mean, no word on when it'll be out or where we'll be able to listen to it, but it's like a full, I looked at the cast list. There was not one name that I recognized. They're not going for like celebrities. They're going for just
just get
voice
it done.
actors.
Right.
Yeah, they didn't say what the other 4 titles will be, but I'm excited to hear it.
Yeah,
I'll definitely.
It's kind of like when Marvel did like those Wastelander series. That was kind of the post-apocalyptic, and then the Wolverine ones were great.
The Wolverine ones were very good. Yeah.
So
I know DC did some Spotify podcasts as well.
They tried to do
like
the Sandman ones.
Yep, Sandman ones. But these were the this sounds like more like the Sandman one, like a full cast audio adaptation. The Spotify ones were like new stories, I think. But yeah, I'm excited about this. Very cool. Gonna try to keep moving along so we're not talking for 3 hours here, but we got some new release date updates for movies I'm excited about, not excited about, or curious about, I should say, and slightly excited about. Let's see. We'll read all these. You tell me which one is which. First of all, found out this week that a movie I forgot was happening, Lord of the Rings: The Hunt for Gollum, will be released December 17th, 2027. So it's in range. We are in range, folks. December 17th, 2027 is going to be directed by and starring Andy Serkis. It'll be the first of 2 films. And we talked about this when they announced this Hunt for Gollum movie. Steve, are you any more excited to see Hunt for Gollum?
No. I mean, I'll end up seeing it. And if it's great,
of course,
then that's awesome. But like,
great. Yeah.
Definitely not moving the needle, especially after that really horrible video game they did.
Yeah, I heard that was really bad.
Apparently it was real bad.
Yeah.
Like beyond bad.
Yeah. Like, I know there's a lot of love for the Lord of the Rings movies still.
Oh, yeah. I rewatched Fellowship on my flight back from Vegas a couple weeks ago, and I was like, holy shit, this is, like, it still holds up.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was also watching it in order to see if I could show it to my son and realize, no, I cannot.
No.
Because it's the same thing. You'd probably do the same thing of, like, in your brain, you're like, oh, yeah, that was fine. Oh, shit, that was not fine.
It's not fine. Not fine. I just feel like it's so long after those movies, like waiting a really long time to make a movie that takes place during the first movie. It's just, it's strange. I mean, we'll wait and see. Trailer will, the more we get out of it, the more we'll learn about it, the more my opinion will form, but we'll see. This one I'm very excited about. I'm a horror guy. Evil Dead Burn. Yeah, what a title. Sequel to Evil Dead Rise will be released July 24th, 2026. Being directed by Sebastian Vanatek, starring Sehulia Yakub. I don't know who either of those people are, but of course, it's being produced by Sam Raimi, Rob Tappert, and the great Bruce Campbell. July 24th, 2026. That's next summer, baby. New Evil Dead.
There you go.
And I also have read that there's also a second Evil Dead movie in production as well, being worked on currently. So trying to pump these things out a little bit quicker, than every 10 years or 15 years or whatever. Give me more Evil Dead. Last but not least, we got a new installment What's that?
So when all else fails, more Evil Dead.
More Evil Dead. We have a new installment of the Godzilla Kong franchise coming out March 26, 2027. We got a short teaser for it this week that revealed the title of it. It's called Godzilla Kong Supernova. Don't know what that means whatsoever. Going to be directed by a guy named Grant Spature. Taking over from the guy that did the previous 2 or 3, I think. Starring Caitlin Dever, Dan Stevens, Matthew Modine, and Sam Neill. Sam Neill. A guy that we already associate with looking at giant beasts.
It's true.
Is going to be dealing with gianter beasts.
And David Haller himself.
That's right. He was in the last one. He was in
Was he?
New Godzilla Kong New Empire. He was like a, I don't know, weirdo. But he's fun. Like, those movies are bad, but they're fun. So.
Oh, Matthew Modine.
Yeah, classic Matthew Modine.
Yep. Was he in?
Are we getting a new season of Monarch, by the way?
That's what I was
that
just
Apple
thinking.
TV show? I just thought that.
Yeah.
Because they teased that first season ended, a big tease for a second season.
Right. That was a way better show than it should have been.
Yeah, I thought it dragged a little bit in the middle, but I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
I ended up liking it quite a bit.
I think my expectations were like on the floor. So like
Sure.
even I'd probably put it at like a 6.5, 7.5, somewhere in there. And that was way higher than I expected it to be, and it was still a lot of fun.
I mean, it can't be a cheap show when you're paying Kurt Russell and Wyatt Russell and occasionally John Goodwin to show up as a cameo. Plus all the CGI,
when you get
but
both
also
of
like
them,
it's
when you get both of them, Wyatt can just stay at Kurt's house, and then you don't
that's
have
true.
to
You
pay
save
for
on
lodging. And
yeah. But also it's Apple TV and they have billions of dollars. So make another season of it. Why don't you?
Yeah, whatever money you want. Whatever money you want, they've got.
They make shows that they don't even tell you about with the biggest celebrities you've ever thought of in your life.
And then they just show up on there and you're like, what?
They're just on there.
Yeah.
They're just on there. Gary Oldman did 5 seasons of a spy thriller. Oh, okay. What?
Wait, what?
That's a real thing.
Really?
I can't think of the name of it right now, but there's like a 5-season show starring Gary Oldman as like
that I somehow didn't know about.
It's on Apple TV. They don't advertise. It's fucking wild. I don't know why they don't.
Hey,
they don't need to. They don't need to. It's all supplemental for them. And corporations. I am reviewing a comic book tonight from Image. First issue of a book called Blood and Thunder.
Oh, that's the book I was supposed to.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yep.
Should I wait until next week and we can both talk about it?
No, go for it.
Okay. Writer Benito Sereno, artist EJ Sue, colorist Misasiak, and Russ Wooten, letterer. Russ Wooten. That guy gets around for a letterer. This book takes place in some kind of strange future, or I don't know, maybe it's now just in a different world where people live on this giant asteroid kind of thing. They don't really go into why they're there or where they are or what it is. But it says it's a class system where like the rich people are up here and the poor people filter all the way down to, the bottom. Yeah. And there's they really do a really good job of establishing, like do a lot of world building in a way that's not hitting you over the head. It's kind of like smooth, the way they introduce things. The main character is some kind of like law enforcement agent known as Blood as her nickname, and her gun's name is Thunder. She has a sentient gun that she talks to and tells the gun to use different settings in different situations. Apparently, it's like an older model gun, but it's one that her father gave to her, so she doesn't let go of it. There are cool alien designs in it, like this guy who's got his head is like upside down, but that's just like how his head looks. His eyes are just on the bottom of his chin instead of being on the top of his snout.
Weird.
Yeah, it's a lot of weird stuff. It's sci-fi, it's action. It moves really quick. It's very clear story. You know who the characters are. You know they're setting up like books don't exist there or haven't existed there in a long time, and she discovers like someone was trying to like steal or smuggle books, and she's never seen one. She steals one, so it's gonna kind of be going down that road of like her hiding something from her superiors, but also being charged with, or being enforcing the
Right.
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
she's got to get rid of the books, but she also is interested probably and she's probably gonna find out that her bosses are corporate a-holes who are lying to her and a bunch of the people that she protects on a daily basis. That would be my guess of where the story's going. I love a story like that. It's like a kind of a classic trope. I'm down. This book was really cool. It was a lot of fun. It was fast paced, lots of action, very cool art, and I recommend it.
There you
Definitely
go.
recommend it. Big, bright action, fun, funny, and like I said, a lot of cool world building that doesn't hit you over the head and isn't confusing.
Nice.
Like, you get it. You understand the world real quick.
I'll let you know what it looks like next week for after I now have my level set.
Yeah, do a point counterpoint.
Yeah. Unless it's like point because we both enjoy it.
Yeah.
So
I would say it'd be likely point. But this week, in your local comic book store, you may find the following books, as well as a copy of Blood and Thunder. You could find Absolute Batman number 8, Action Comics number 1086, All New Venom number 5, Aquaman number 5, Batman and Robin number 21, Daredevil number 21, Dick Tracy number 10, Doctor Strange of Asgard number 3, Fantastic Four number 5. Steve, we've been saying this. Godzilla's really getting around. I didn't know this was happening. Godzilla versus X-Men number 1. Wasn't he just fighting Spider-Man like a week ago? Just tearing through that Marvel universe.
Deadpool kills the Marvel universe and Godzilla fights all of them, apparently.
I guess so. Green Lantern Corps number 4, Gwenpool number 1, number 1 for Gwenpool. Immortal Thor number 23, Invincible Universe Battle Beast number 1. I am emphasizing this because our own Funky Town Comics and Vinyl are doing a big midnight release for this book. Apparently, according to Funky Town Comics, I'm just going to tangent right in the middle of this list.
Yeah, what the hell?
Invincible is their like number 1 selling book. Any kind of Invincible book they can't keep on the shelves, apparently. Very popular. The show is very good.
Yeah.
The show is very popular. Show is boosting sales of the books. This is a new spin-off from the Invincible universe. Battle Beast number 1 this Wednesday or Tuesday night at Funky Town Comics and Vinyl.
Yeah, they're doing a 36-hour opening. So they will
They'll be open for 36 hours.
Yeah, they will be open from their release from midnight on Tuesday.
Yep.
So starting in an hour and 13 minutes all the way through Wednesday normal close.
Yeah. Wild.
Yep. So
wait, they're starting midnight. They're starting midnight Tuesday?
Thought so.
I didn't realize it. Oh, I don't know.
Because they're open tomorrow.
They have to. Yeah. You're right. Wow, crazy.
Or maybe they're starting.
Good luck, Funky Town.
Maybe they're starting at opening tomorrow through close of Wednesday.
I guess that's what I thought.
That might be it. Either way, show up tomorrow because
overnight.
I don't know if anybody watching this is going to show up between midnight and 8 a.m. tomorrow.
Yeah, probably not.
So, yeah.
Good luck, Funky Town. But yeah, check out Invincible Universe Battle Beast. Also got Miles Morales Spider-Man number 33, One World Under Doom number 4, Phoenix number 11, Pop Kill number 2, Space Ghost 12, Spider-Verse versus Venomverse number 1. Can't imagine being excited about that. Star Wars Jedi Knights number 3, Supergirl number 1, new number 1 for Supergirl, Transformers number 20, Ultimate X-Men number 15, Uncanny X-Men number 14, World Tree 14, When I Lay My Vengeance Upon Thee number 4, Wolverine number 9, X Factor number 10. Bam.
So what are you pulling,
That's
Mike?
A lot of books. I don't know what I'm pulling this week. I might pick up the Battle Beast just to support my Funky Town Comics and Vinyl. I don't know. I think my pull list, I picked up my pulls came out last week.
Yeah.
I don't know. Supergirl number 1. That's enticing to me.
I was going to say, I might grab a copy of that just for posterity's sake. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Absolute Batman's still cooking with gas. So
Sure.
And then I don't know what Battle Beast will be, but I'll give it a shot.
No, me either.
What the
no
hell?
idea. Yeah. That's all I got comics wise. Is it? I think it's time to talk about Andor for a little bit.
I think it is.
So we can get to bed before midnight.
Yeah, it's overrated.
I don't know. I'm pretty exhausted tonight, so I don't know that I'll be able to hang too much longer.
Yeah, well, you know how we always say that, and then we talk Star Wars. So
I agree. Yeah, Star Wars is the one thing that can rejuvenate me. When we were talking on the, when we did our May the 4th ranking episode, I mentioned how I had been rewatching so many Star Wars TV shows in order to make that list that I was burnt out on Star Wars.
Yeah.
Since saying that, I've watched The Last Jedi, Force Awakens, more episodes of Rebels, and more episodes of Andor.
Yeah.
And I'm just not stopping.
So we recorded
Star Wars burnout. I recovered from Star Wars burnout fairly quickly.
Yeah. So we recorded that episode the Wednesday before May 4th so that we could, celebrate in style since it was on a Sunday. Yeah. I was very excited that we watched Force Awakens with my son.
Yeah.
And then after that, my wife was like, "Do you want to watch Rogue One?" Yes. Yes, I do.
Yes, I do.
In fact, I do. And that whole last scene, the whole third act of that movie, it may be perfect or close to it.
Yeah. We will be watching Rogue One after Andor season 2. We already talked about it.
Nice.
We're gonna my wife and I, not
my
son. My son did watch Force Awakens. I don't think I told you that, but we ended up watching it, not on May the 4th, but we ended up watching it, and he thought it was awesome. He cried at the one part.
Yep.
Where you cry.
Oh yeah.
And we had to pause for a little bit because he was upset, but got back into it. He thought it was awesome. I watched The Last Jedi on May the 4th, and goddamn, I fucking love that movie. Like, that movie, I was so mixed on it when I first saw it, and the more I watch it, the more I just think it just rips. That movie rips. There's goes through a lot of setup.
Yeah.
But gets through it as fast as it can, and then the back half of it is just ripping the entire time. Love it. Unapologetically love it. But anyway, you should all go if you haven't watched the most recent episodes of Andor. You should not listen to us talk about them because we're going to talk about them in detail and say everything that happened. And we don't want to spoil it for you.
For the record, that is always our least favorite opinion of Richard Westfall. The fact that both of us unapologetically love The Last Jedi.
He doesn't. He apologizes for his love of The Last Jedi.
No, he boos us every time we unapologetically love it.
Well,
which
Richard,
I get.
You should watch it again.
I think
watch it again, Richard.
We've been down that rabbit hole too of I totally get why people don't like that movie.
Well, I think it's Star Wars' expectations, right? Like, people went in and they wanted Luke Skywalker to be like the big hero that they wanted him to be from when they were a kid or whatever, and then that's not what it was because Mark Hamill's in his 60s, and it would be silly for him to
right. But if he was
act like he was in his 20s again, I don't know.
Yeah, but I get it.
But he also does the most powerful thing that a Jedi's ever done,
It's
and
true.
Finds a way to be what the Resistance needs him to be without popping his lightsaber, which is, what he learns at the end of Return of the Jedi. Anyway, that movie rules, Richard. You should watch it again. Richard. Watch it 6 more times.
So yeah, if you haven't seen the last arc of Andor, or I guess any Andor or whatever, if you don't want to be spoiled about what happened last week on the weekly Star Wars movie that we get, feel free to take off now. But before you do, subscribe, and check us out on your podcatcher of choice. Feel free to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Feel free to subscribe, comment, hang out in the chat on Sundays here on YouTube. Check us out next Saturday on MON Comics on their Big 5 Live. And
and support my comic book. I brought a gorilla to a gunfight
absolutely.
On Kickstarter right now.
I mean, yeah. Why not?
Why not?
That's all I got.
That's all I got. So that's your friend in the neighborhood spoiler warning. Here we go. Talking about ANDOR, season 2, episode 7, 8, 9. Messenger, who are you? And welcome to the Rebellion. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. So this is the Yavin section. We made it to Yavin 4. Finally. Finally and officially.
We made it there. We made it back off. Jesus Christ. This 3-episode arc, like, I watched it the day it came out. I couldn't stop. Like,
yeah, I wouldn't have started it if I wasn't.
Yeah, I started at 9:00, and I watch. Usually, what I do is 2, and then I'll do 1 in the morning because I always wake up at the crack of dawn and whatever. I watched the 2, and there wasn't even a thought in my mind that I was going to stop. It was just like,
yeah, right.
I got done with episode 8, and I'm like, yeah, okay, guess it's gonna be a rough morning, but we're in.
Yeah, here we go.
And yeah, it was worth every minute of pain on Wednesday morning.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I watched them over a few days. It took me actually a while to get to these, because we had a crazy week last week. But so episode 7 is Messenger. I just got like synopses up. I don't know. Basically, Willem or Willman. I always say Willem, but it's Willman and Cassian go to Gorman with the intent to assassinate Dedra Miro. But they find that is harder than they expect because of the increased military presence from the Empire.
Right. In part due to the rapidly, they have their ulterior motives, which we found out over the course.
Yeah.
But in part due to what Cyril has done with this insurgency and the rise of the insurgency, which is giving the Empire a excuse to bring in these forces.
Yes, and the Empire wants everybody to be focused on the insurgency, so they can continue to try to find ways to mine this mineral that they need, assumedly for the Death Star.
Yeah, she said it was for the Energy Project.
The Energy Project,
which is what they've been.
But have they said Project Stardust?
No, I don't think so.
I don't
maybe
think
they did earlier, but I don't remember. Like, I feel like I would have had an moment for that.
Yeah. So he checks in the hotel there. Can't get a good. I know I'm like forgetting stuff that happened, but who cares? Who are you? It's episode 8, and this is the Gorman massacre.
So in episode 7, we have that interaction.
Yes.
Go
Sorry.
For it.
I was gonna say at the party with Luthen and Clea trying to remove the microphone from the antique piece without being caught, which for me, incredibly, that made me so anxious. Made me so anxious. She's trying to turn that thing so hard, her hand is bleeding. I was like, they're gonna find him. They're gonna find him. Like the other guy, the mole is like helping her, and he's super nervous. So I was like, I can't take this. I can't take this. This is too much. It's too much.
Well, and we also, because we don't know what happens to Clea and Luthen. Like, we have no idea where their demise comes. Assumed demise. So yeah, that was harrowing. And it had nothing to do with anything outside of them possibly getting caught. And you're just like, on the edge of your seat, like, okay, like when.
But we've never seen them in a situation where they're almost getting caught before.
Right.
You know what I mean? We've never seen them like boots on the ground kind of thing. And this wasn't, they weren't in an action scene, but it was like.
No, but it's their kind of action scene. Like.
Yeah, like their involvement in the rebellion
is all the spying and backroom
and is substantial.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And it's over if they get caught here. They're out. So that was wild to me. And then that leads into another
season 7. You also have the Cassian getting shot and the Force healer.
The Force healer. I love that.
Yeah.
The Force healer thing. Because this is the first time this show has acknowledged the Force at all.
And they didn't.
In any way. They didn't.
They didn't even acknowledge it.
But they say Force healing, though. They say
no,
that,
they don't.
At least. They don't?
I don't think they
I
did.
think they do. I think they do.
I don't know.
I think
We'll have to
Bix
go
or
back
somebody
and check
says
on that.
force
But
healing. Yeah. But but they do it. They're whether or not they say force healing, that's what is happening.
right,
So it's the show acknowledging this power existing, and Cassian just like not believing in it at
very
all.
Han
Similar
Solo-y.
to very Han
Yeah.
Solo-y. And I just thought that was great. I thought it was a great way. It was very in step with the show. A very like smart way for them to acknowledge this thing that is such a big part of the Star Wars universe in their own way, without, he doesn't see somebody lift a thing with their mind or any crazy Jedi stuff. There's no lightsabers or anything like that. There's no only what you take with you Yoda talk or anything like that. It's just like, no, it's like faith healing or something like that, is how they spun it. But I loved it. I thought it was really great. And it worked for Cassian, but he can't admit it. I like seeing him run into something that, like Bix says, scares him.
Right.
He can't explain, But then episode 8, another incredibly intense episode of television, the Gorman
8 might have been
Massacre,
one of
called
the most.
Who Are You?
It might have been one of the most intense episodes of television I've seen.
It was, yeah. It was really good.
Like, there's a
It was really
reason
good.
it's a 9.9 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow. And just the part of the reason I love this show, part of the reason I love this arc, this episode. You know what? I'll say the whole show. The whole show really goes out of its way to, not in an overt way, not in a mustache twirling kind of way, but they really show you how evil the Empire is and how little they care about human life that isn't benefiting them at all. Whether we're talking about the Anton Krieger thing in season 1, where they set that guy, where they set him up as a trap. They like have like an injured pilot or whatever they set up to trap the guy. Or this, where they are allowing a rebellion to start so they can use it as a distraction, and they can use it to spin. They can use anytime the rebellion attacks, you see the journalists like spinning it for the Empire, to make it like, oh, they're just attacking us for no reason. I don't know.
Right.
We're just doing the same thing we do on every planet, and they won't stop, whatever. But then like barricading and trapping all those people in that circle the writing's on the wall. That's that's what's happening. But then they flew in a platoon of like young
rookies,
rookies, knowing that they were going to use them as a spark to start off this massacre, to give the stormtroopers an excuse to murder innocent people. That's the most evil fucking thing.
By firing on their own troops.
Yes.
The sniper purposefully shot an Imperial officer or Imperial
one of their own
soldier, which sends the young troopers into fight or flight mode, and
which makes them want to attack the crowd, which makes the crowd attack back, which makes the stormtroopers execute everybody that they can. Wild.
Well, almost multiple times, almost getting Cassian and Willman.
Yes. Yeah. But they don't get Cassian.
And Cyril during this whole thing is how to describe Cyril's arc in these 2 to 3 2 episodes, because
they have made it clear that Cyril doesn't know everything that Dedra knows. And Cyril starts putting 2 and 2 together, because he's not an idiot, as much as he's portrayed as like comic relief sometimes. He's not an idiot. He's smart enough to find Cassian in the season 1 or whatever. Like, he's good at his job, and starts realizing like, oh, I'm just here. The thing that I'm doing is not important. The thing that I'm doing is a distraction for whatever she's doing,
Yeah.
because he's learning that they're digging something, and
Right. Why are there mining vessels in orbit?
Why are there mining vessels? And yes, what's going on here? But she doesn't tell him, and he gets upset and he leaves, and he goes out. He's there for the massacre. He witnesses it happening. For a second, you think that he's like, what are we? I think he kind of is like, what are we doing? This is like, what have I been working for? But then, inevitably, he sees in the crowd Cassian Andor and tries to beat him to death.
Right.
Because despite the Empire being clearly incredibly evil, he still hates this guy.
Well, he's the one that set him on this whole path.
Blames him for ruining his life.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. And
which I'm now watching in the beginning of season 1, and I'm like,
sure.
Oh shit, I forgot about like all of this.
All of it. And then just at the end of the fight, just as Cyril is about to execute Cassian Andor, Cassian looks at him and says, "Who are you?"
Yeah.
Which is the name of the episode.
Which inherently causes Cyril to take his guard down. And it's one of those where you don't know whether it's, some weird existential, like Cyril contemplating who he is, or like him having this realization of like, I've been fixating on this guy who has no freaking clue who I am, and like, what was it all for?
I thought it was just him. I thought it was like rage. I thought it was like, what do you mean you know who I am? Like, how dare you say that to me?
Right.
Like, I've been hunting you for, kind of like what you said, but more in an angry way.
Yeah.
Not in a, what is this, what have I been doing? But like, I want how, like, he like,
well, his face kind of switches to that, like, huh. Like, it seems like
I don't
inquisitive.
know. Maybe I missed that. Maybe I missed that.
But it allows, Cyril drops his guard long enough that he doesn't immediately shoot Cassian, and then the leader of the resistance,
the leader of the Gorman Front, shoots
Rylance, I think is his name.
Yeah.
Just completely shoots him in the head.
Yep. End of Cyril Karn.
Yeah, just such a.
Yep.
Is it it's the right ending for him?
It's a sad but fitting ending for Cyril, where the last thing he hears is the thing that he's been most passionate about.
For all
the person that he's been for all this time so focused on, doesn't remember him, doesn't know who he is at all, doesn't care. Has not been as focused on him as he had. That's why I thought, like, if Cyril hadn't gotten shot in the head at that moment, I thought he was going to just start screaming at Cassian.
I could see that.
Like, yeah.
That would have been good.
But I'll have to watch it again. Again.
But either way, no more Cyril.
Yeah.
Like, we got to see the Gorman massacre, man.
Yeah.
Like, that was alluded to in a cartoon.
Yeah. I know.
Like, what? And it was one of the most harrowing episodes of television that they could have produced.
I read a great thread on Blue Sky. I do not remember who posted it. I know film critic William Bibiani had reposted it.
Yep.
I don't know who the original poster was. And it was a guy talking about how the original Star Wars movie was a huge hit, but that George Lucas doesn't really understand why it was such a big hit. And this guy was making the point that part of the reason that people engaged with it so much is that he did not have the budget or the time to show you everything in the entire universe. So there's all these lines in that movie that reference other things that set your imagination on fire. But it's not all laid out for you, because it can't possibly be laid out for you, because the universe is too big and he does not have the budget to show you all of these things. You fought in the Clone Wars, things like that.
Yeah.
But even things like, what's a power converter? Where's Tashi Station? Like, just there's like, this guy mentions, like, he's like almost every line of dialogue in that movie
Yeah.
poses a question or introduces a thing you never thought about before. And like that you are creating all this stuff in your brain, which is part of the reason why we get into the argument of like people don't like new Star Wars because it doesn't fit with their expectations, right? Or their initial expectations.
Because everybody's
but
initial
also-
expectations were different because you
Right.
made it up in your head.
Right. But he also goes on to say that now part of the reason that Star Wars, in his opinion, isn't great. He says he likes the original movie and he likes Andor. He doesn't like anything. So like I can't agree with this guy on that. But I get the point he's making where it's like now a lot of Star Wars is about showing you things, showing you those things that were in your imagination, whether it be the Clone Wars, whether it be the Kessel Run in Solo, whether it be Rogue One, stealing the plans. Like that's another like we are showing you something that you only imagined in your brain. And inevitably, this guy's point, inevitably, it's not going to live up to what you thought it was in your imagination. I don't think that's always true. Because I didn't imagine the theft of the Death Star plans in such detail.
Right.
I didn't imagine the Kessel Run in such detail, you know? So like, it's fun to see that stuff. And this goes in that too. Like, I never really imagined beat for beat what caused the Gorman massacre from one throwaway line in a cartoon episode of Rebels. And I don't think it's diminished by seeing this at all because it was done so incredibly well.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
In this case,
it's a good thread to read, but it's still, I don't
Yeah.
agree with it full.
This case, it was definitely something that made it better in the sense that it fleshed it out. It did it with good reason and with like the appropriate tact.
Yeah.
You know, it didn't unnecessarily fill in holes. It fleshed out this whole storyline and added other things to it.
And it was done in a way that made sense for the characters to be there. It wasn't out of nowhere. Like they set this up in episode 1. You know, they were talking about Gorman with Krennic in episode 1. So like, you know, and this is another argument against, you know, this has become my least favorite argument for anything, whether it gets announced or whatever. Like, who asked for this?
Doesn't matter.
I don't know. Doesn't matter. Someone made it. You can watch it or not watch it. Doesn't matter who asked for it.
Some of the best things I've seen are things that I didn't ask for. Look at arguably one of the best Marvel things they've put out in forever, Agatha. Who the hell wanted an Agatha series?
No one wanted that.
No.
Who was asking for a Werewolf by Night special? No one.
No.
Who was asking for a movie called Star Wars in 1977? No one was asking for a space opera fantasy in 1977.
Yeah.
Yeah. And no one was like, when do we get to see the Gorman massacre? So like, who cares?
There were
Stop
dozens of people that were wondering what the Gorman massacre was.
Yeah. So anyway, stop using that as an excuse to not like something or to shit on something. So then episode 9, Welcome to the Rebellion, I knew just from the title of it, I was like, this is going to be Mon Mothma fleeing. This has to be.
So Cassian
and at the end of episode 8, Cassian takes a broken KX droid home to Yavin 4 with him.
Right.
Seemingly
and did you notice the guy who killed him? Who killed the artist to be named K2 soon?
I noticed that there was someone that ran into him, but I didn't notice.
So the guy was the insurgent that killed Cinta.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yeah. Yes.
So he took that 1 year lead because every one of these bricks is a year after each other. In that year, he went from bumbling idiot to I'm going to dedicate myself to this cause and was there to save Cassian.
Yeah. He was in earlier in the episode too.
Yeah, but it was a nice through line of he's definitely took that to heart and matured off of it. And yeah,
he didn't quit. He didn't give up.
Right.
He's like, I made a mistake, but I'm still here. Yeah, for sure. So we didn't talk about the recasting of Senator Bail Organa yet, which is a bummer.
Yeah.
But according to Tony Gilroy, Jimmy Smits was not available and they could not get him, and they tried and tried and tried, and it just wasn't going to work out. And that's a bummer. But Benjamin Bratt, also a very good actor,
Yeah.
and he's kind of crushing it.
I think the
for
first time I
continuity's
saw
sake,
him,
I wish it was Jimmy Smits. For continuity's sake, I wish it was
Yeah.
him. But if it can't be, I'd rather you do that than give me a dumb deep fake CGI face, like
Right.
Tarkin.
I think
whatever, you know?
I think now, to be fair, having just watched Rogue One, it isn't nearly as bad as like people made it out to be.
No, I know.
And
it's
also,
just-
like, Lisa didn't realize that Peter Cushing died 20 years ago.
wow, more than 20 years ago, my friend.
Well,
He's been
you
dead
know
for
what I
quite
mean.
some time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
20 years from where you and I think it is.
Yeah.
Where my brain thinks it is. But yeah, she was like, that's what? Like, that's not a person?
Nope. Yeah.
No. Nope, not at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, the end of that, like, yeah, leading into episode 9, you wonder what they can do, and then
Yeah.
episode 9 is almost as good.
Oh yeah, for sure. Absolutely. I loved episode 9. I
Yeah.
thought it was so good.
But it's like, where do you go from them going through this whole, like, watching the Gorman massacre, all the tension, like Cyril choking Dedra out, or like
Yeah,
almost
I forgot
choking
about
Dedra
that.
out, like,
Yeah, I forgot about that.
the
Wow.
the
Yeah.
sheer tension in that episode was just insane.
But then they brought the tension early in 9 too.
Yeah,
It was like a
straight to
different kind
Coruscant.
of like ramping tension where Luthen's talking to her and she's like, I gotta get out of here. Is she gonna make the speech? Is she not gonna make the speech?
Right.
And Luthen's like, don't trust Organa's team, you gotta trust my guy, and Cassian's gonna be there. This is the code word. And
Yep.
I feel like Star Wars fans have to adopt the I have friends everywhere. in some way
100%.
of like letting everybody know I have friends everywhere. That's a great. I love that.
Yeah.
Code exchange is really cool.
Next time, yeah. Next time you see any of us or one of us at a con, feel free to drop that line. Maybe we'll find something special for you.
Yeah, we can talk about Star Wars for a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Anyone wants to talk about Star Wars with us, just come up and say, I have friends everywhere. Oh yeah, and I love because we know what happened to Mon Mothma's friend Tay with Cinta. I love that Luthen's like, you can't trust those guys. You got to go with my guy.
Yeah.
And she's like, the last time someone went with your guy, he didn't come back. So
Yeah.
I don't want to go with your
Literally.
guy. Like, that was
Do you remember Tay?
Yeah,
Yes,
but it was
she
like
asked him.
Yeah, but it was a great setup for her. Like, informed her character. Like
Yeah.
how anxious is she? She might die.
Yeah.
Like, this is wild. And then the speech that she gave was great. It was very good. We see that one of Organa's team is compromised and murders the other one.
Yeah.
Working for the ISB, clearly.
So
you
one
say?
thing, her speech, people were talking about how they retconned Rebels and blah blah blah. I think that's
No.
a second speech. Like, she did that
She gives a
speech from the
speech
ghost.
from the ghost. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they even say in episode 9, like, Cassian isn't the one that brings her to Yavin. Cassian drops her at the safe house, and they say, like,
Gold Squadron.
oh, there's good someone Gold Squadron's going to pick her up because they want her to give a speech.
Yeah.
And they're talking about the speech she gives in Rebels. They say that at the end of episode 9. Like, we need her to give a speech. They want her to give a speech.
Mhm.
So, like, yeah, they're not retconning anything.
Yeah.
Because it's like Cassian's not in that episode of Rebels, right? And it's not the ghost that picks her up from Coruscant. It's Gold Squadron that delivers her to the ghost. And then the ghost takes her the rest of the way. Yeah, she makes the speech from the bridge of the ghost.
Yeah.
So there's I gotta wonder, like Tony Gilroy in the past has said that he's not like a big minutia Star Wars fan at all, and he had to have people that were more familiar with it come in and work on the show and write stuff. At what point was somebody like, by the way, you have to sync up with this animated series.
Right.
Like, you can't break this. This is canon. You
Yeah,
can't
like
break
when
this. And he
did
was
when
just like,
did was it a conversation between like him and Pablo Hidalgo where he's like,
right.
no, so 10 years ago we had an animated show that came out where
Yeah.
this
Yeah. Trust
crew,
me, it's good.
yeah,
And yeah. Like, was he just like, oh, okay? Or was he like, oh my God, what do you mean I gotta
yeah,
do this? And, like, I would love to have seen his face. He's like, you are
it's like
beholden to this episode of season 3 of Star Wars
yeah,
Rebels that
it's like
aired
season
on
3, episode
Disney
9,
XD.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
but yeah, I guarantee you it was something like, huh,
I'm like, oh, okay.
like is he
But it
serious?
didn't.
Like is he serious? Is he not serious? It's like
Yeah.
waiting for that, like, yeah.
It didn't hold him back. Like, the episode's still great.
Oh yeah,
And the anxiety between Luthen and Clea and Cassian before
yeah,
Cassian goes in, of like, where is she, like, what's gonna, the driver talking to the ISB guy, like, I
Mhm.
haven't seen her come out, like, oh, it's just like tension, and then like they're just blasting their way out at the end. So great. It
Oh,
was so
what
great.
was the one scene? They've got Cassian at gunpoint, and who comes in?
The other senator, Erskine.
Yeah, Erskine. I was
Yeah.
like the one that's in that episode of Rebels.
Yeah, right.
Which
Also
that
escapes from
casting was great. Like he looks just like the
Yeah.
animated guy.
I know. I thought that too. I was like, wow,
Yeah.
really good. Perfect.
He showed up on screen. I'm like, I recognize him.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like all those little things that had to happen to get Mon Mothma off of Coruscant, and they all lined up and they worked and they got her there.
Yeah.
Biggest job of Cassian's life, and then after it,
He claims that he's done and wants to leave.
yeah,
And that doesn't sit well with the love of his life.
yeah,
And maybe the love of my life, to be honest with you. I'm pretty into Bix Kayleen,
yep,
I gotta say. She leaves him. This is a very minor nitpick, but where do these video screens come from? Star Wars is hologram based, people. Let's see some holograms and less video recordings.
Well,
Okay.
no, you see, even like in the underworld in episode 2, you see like screens that like time screens, Times Square style screens and stuff like that. And
I know. Just saying.
Oh,
With a
mentioning
message.
Bix, outside of what is it? I can't remember the actor's name, but the way they did her makeup in like the first couple of episodes compared to this season, like it's been a killer progression of like everything was very happy-go-lucky in those first episodes and like fresh-faced and like progressively just like down the rabbit hole to where she, had the breaking point when he was off world.
Yeah, she got a drug
like
problem.
Kind of coming back now. And like what they've done with that character and just the look of her has been killer. And something I didn't realize until last night when I went back and watched 3 episodes of it, of like the first series. And I'm like, oh, wow. Like that level of detail is what they did throughout this show of like her and Cassian's look. Yes, they're younger, but it's also like you can tell it's a definitive choice of what they're doing.
For sure. Yeah. Adria Arona is the woman's name that plays Bix. But she decides that Cassian is too good, and this is what he's meant for this rebellion. And that she is choosing the rebellion, and in order to get Cassian to stay in the rebellion, she knows that she has to leave. So she sneaks away in the middle of the night, leaves him a video recording saying that if you said something like, if you stop doing this because of me, I'll never forgive myself. So
And
this is where you're meant to be. I'm going to go. And when it's over and we've won, I will find you. She said. So she's still out there somewhere.
Yeah, that's not going to work.
She's still out there. It's not going to work because he's not going to make it out.
Yeah.
But my wife was pretty sure, and I kind of was at the beginning of the season, I was like, all these characters are gonna die, right? That's why.
Yeah.
But they don't have to. It's not like we see every character all the time ever. So like somebody could be in this series and just not be in A New Hope or not be in Empire Strikes Back. Like, who cares? Those movies aren't about the other minor rebel characters. But even up to this episode, my wife was sure that Bix was gonna die, and I kind of realized before the end of this episode, which gave her like a better exit. I was like, this is a character who we've seen get brainwashed or like driven mad, tortured and driven mad in the first season. And we saw her get like sexual assaulted and beaten in this season. Like, to have that character end with death is
that would be
pretty bleak.
rough. Yeah.
Pretty bleak. So if they can't have a happy ending together, I'm glad that this is her exit from the story on her own terms.
Yeah.
And not something worse. But it doesn't end on a down note, because we get the reactivation of the aforementioned KX series droid, and we see the birth of K2SO, a lot of people's favorite droid. He's in the conversation of best droids, I think.
We had a if you go back a couple of years to the first Syracuse Collectors Con, we definitively will have an answer to how many people's favorite droid that was. I can't remember what it was, but
Me either. He didn't come out on top. I know that, but he's on my list. He's maybe top 5 for me.
yeah, I can see
Favorite droids. We have to see the birth of K2SO, and now, like I said, we got 3 more episodes left, and that's it. That's it. This week, it's over. It's over this week.
That's
so
crazy. How did you like the Frankenstein's monster scene? Did you notice the parallels when K2 was coming around?
Oh, I thought it was great. Yeah, I thought it was great.
The
electricity, and
that's the word.
He's like flashed down.
I don't deal with it every day at work.
Right. Yeah. It was really good.
Yeah. So,
do you have any predictions for the final 3 episodes? Will we see the Death Star? I think we will.
I think we will either see the Death Star or get that Stardust reference that we're looking for.
I would love to see the Rebels or see somebody learn about the Death Star, discover the Death Star, be like, oh shit. Because they still don't know what they're built as of these episodes. They don't know that that's a thing yet.
So
like the rebellion doesn't know that that's being built.
Is this last arc 0 BBY or is it 1 BBY? Like, is this leading directly into Rogue One? Like, I don't know
how direct it will be, but I don't. I think it'll. I don't know. I don't know that it's going to lead directly into Rogue One the way that Rogue One leads directly into New Hope. I mean, it could. What do we see Cassian in Rogue One? He's meeting an informant, right? So like he could be like, I gotta go meet somebody. Goodbye. Credits. But as of now, we the Rebels don't know about the Death Star. I would love to see somebody come out of hyperspace and just happen upon it and be like, oh shit, we have to tell. This is a big deal. We have to figure something out, you know?
Yeah.
And then part of the drama of those episodes is like, well, what are we going to do? We don't have a way in to this. Like, oh, what about Galen Erso? Do we know anyone connected to Galen? You know, I would love that conversation. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Do you think there will be any, I think we'll see Krennic again.
Yeah, I think we'll definitely.
He'll be in there at least one last time. I was really hoping for a Jyn cameo because we were with Saw for a while, but I think now we're too close. We're too close to Rogue One for her to be in. I don't think she's going to be in it because the thing was that she grew up with him, but then he like abandoned her, left her behind somewhere. She was on her own for a while.
Her with Saw. Gotcha.
With Saw. Yeah. So I think she's on her own somewhere, and she's not with Saw anymore. I was hoping like first arc we'd see a little bit of Jin or so, or see her get left behind or something. I don't think that's happening. But like, do you think we'll get like a Darth Vader cameo or anything big like that?
I don't think so. I think this will
think so
stay
either.
as independent as it can.
Yeah,
like
same.
I do wonder if this, like, the parting shot is him like flying into the ring at Kafrene to where we meet him in Rogue One,
Yeah.
to like where he's
Could be.
going to meet that informant.
Do you think we will see Mon Mothma change her hair from the fancy stylized version to the just mop down
Bowl cut?
over your forehead bowl cut look?
Yeah, like
Do we think that?
90s boy bowl cut.
Yeah. Interesting. And she'll just be in her like classic giant sheet robe
Right.
thing that she wears.
Yeah. No, I mean
I don't know.
the I'm not quite a ghost bed sheet and
Yeah.
that hair,
Giant
it's a
necklace,
combo.
long pendant. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would love to watch somebody learn about the Death Star. Other than that, I don't have like, I don't know. This show's been so good and it's done things that I didn't expect the whole time. So I can't. Oh, we got Melshi. Melshi came back.
Yep. Yeah, we did.
Saw him.
Yep. I had one of those
What?
point at the screen moments when that happened. I was like,
Yeah.
I know him.
Oh, that's that guy.
Yeah.
He was in jail with him. He's in Rogue One.
I saw his face and I'm like, Melshi, because he was
Yeah.
in Rogue. Yeah, he was in Rogue One.
Right.
And we had just
Yeah,
watched it,
and
and I'm
he's
like,
in-
nah. Right. Yeah, and
he's
he was in
Narkina 5. Yeah.
Narkina with him. That's all right.
So I don't know. I don't have expectations, but I'm down for whatever they want to give me.
Do we see Kino Loy again, even though he couldn't swim?
At this point, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think
Sorry, Andy Serkis.
our hopes were too high for cameos. I think.
Yeah.
I think Tony Gilroy is a guy who knows. He knows when to play the big cards and when to like back off and make it a real thing. And I think he knows to make this more of a real thing. You know.
Absolutely.
So I trust Tony Gilroy, especially after all the amazing episodes of television he's given us over these 2 seasons. And I'm sure next week we'll be talking about the end of Andor season 2.
Yeah, depending on how much of a banger it is, we may have to call an audible and record something early.
Yeah, I don't know when I'm going to be able to watch
Same.
it though. That's the thing.
Neither do I.
Different schedules. So, all right, cool. Well, that's all I got, Steve. I'm ready for bed.
Same here.
All right. Well, if you're still listening, do all the things that Steve said, like and subscribe.
And buy Mike's book.
Send us an email if you need to. Donate to my Kickstarter, please. I brought a gorilla to a gunfight on Kickstarter.com right now. Lots of cool rewards available. We'll be on Middle of Nowhere Comics this Saturday. Check out that feed for us talking about comic books with them. And I think that's it. Oh, the 6th. When's the this midnight release for Invincible Universe Battle Beast at Funky Town Comics and Vinyl. Check that out too. And I think that's it. That's all I got. So, as the 2 suns set over the burnt corpses of Owen and Bru Lars. So thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And we'll see you in the multiverse.